Welcome to Rock Solid, the Round Rock Business Leaders Podcast. Join your host, Bryan Eisenberg, as he explores the journeys of entrepreneurs and companies across Round Rock, Texas. From startups and nonprofits to large organizations, each guest shares their passion for doing business in this thriving community. Let's dive in.
Hi, everybody. It's Bryan Eisenberg. Welcome to Rock Solid. This week, I am joined by none other than John Garrett from Community Impact. Thank you for joining us this week.
Thank you, Bryan. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
I've known the story of Community Impact for a long time, but I kind of want to start in a different place because, I remember as a kid learning, I think it was Tip O'Neill who said, all news is local. Mm-hmm. And in today's world with social media and how people are consuming news, does that line still resonate, do you think, with communities?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I think people say they consume news on social media, but it's hard to imagine a lot of people consuming the kind of news we write about on social media, just because it's not the fun stuff that social media loves to thrive necessarily. We do, now open restaurants and that kind of thing. But we're covering city council news. We're covering, road construction, real estate construction news and that kind of thing. So the thing about local is, people have different definitions. Some people think local is Austin. Mm-hmm. We think locals, the idea of hyperlocal, like Round Rock or even in your community. Yeah. And the reality is that if we write about a story that is really close to your home, there's probably only about 50 or 100 or 200 households that actually care about that.
Okay.
So it's hard to get any kind of like real viral social thing going when like 100 people care about it. So obviously news at the metro level like Austin, or news at the state level, or certainly at the national level or international level makes a lot of sense for social consumption. But when you want to know like what's right behind your house, it's gonna be hard to find that on social, just because of the nature of how the algorithms work.
And that's true relevance, right? Mm-hmm. It's the most relevant. And I think, I think Tip was kind of pointing to the fact that whatever policy is made, in Washington or at the state level,
sure, yeah,
it impacts you locally. And you're actually saying, no, even all the stuff that's happening locally matters to you.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. If we can connect people to what's happening at the city government and the county government level, they're probably not going to be as passionate. Because it's kind of a different game that the politicians like to play at those two levels. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to get the viral social media, oh my gosh, I can't, very
rarely.
My
gosh moments.
I think we've had a mayor that's gone to the restroom with the mic on and that's gone viral. Like that is about as viral as it gets usually for, the kind of government stuff that we cover. So, but it's to the point is that I think the point is that the things that are happening at the city government actually impact you more than the things that are happening at the national level, your day to day. And so that's why we cover it. That's why we're passionate about covering local news. And so that's our passion. And that's our business.
And you've come from a traditional newspaper. You were working at Houston Chronicle when you decided community impact needed to exist. Mm-hmm. What was that spark as an entrepreneur that said, yeah, I think I want to go into the printing business when, the internet's coming along and all of that.
Yeah, I think part of it is just like the experience I had. So I was at the Houston Chronicle, but my wife and I moved back to Austin. Mm-hmm. So I was at the Austin Business Journal. And that's really where we lived in Round Rock. And so that is
And still do.
Still do. Kids through the schools. And we got one left that's at Round Rock ISD. And so we're really proud residents here. Great place to live and work. I'm grateful for that. But ultimately, we felt like there was something missing in Round Rock. There was a community newspaper here called the Round Rock Leader. I'm not sure if it's still here or not, but it was pretty. Yeah, it was pretty. It did a good job, and we weren't ever trying to do the same thing the Round Rock Leader did. We were trying to do kind of a business journal for the average resident.
Yeah.
And as we've grown, it's been 20 years now. It'll be 20 years in September of this year, of 2025. And I think as we've grown, we've kind of developed. But we have our own thing. We're not the business journal of the local market anymore. We're community impact, and we're not the traditional community newspaper. We're community impact, and so we've kind of built our own formula for what we do, and kind of our own style, a new style, and it's been really successful. People really love community impact. It's got a great brand. We're really fortunate.
And you continue to open up in new locations.
Yeah.
I know you just opened up in Bernie.
Yeah.
How many total locations are you?
We have 41 total publications around the state. We're in Austin, Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio. We've got more on the way. We've got some exciting announcements that are be coming out in the next few months. Our goal is to grow, at a paced level. We don't want to go crazy.
Yep.
We're a privately owned company. My wife and I are the only shareholders in the company, and we made the decision to try to build a company that we call evergreen. Mm-hmm. We want community impact to last 100 years, and so with that, you want to keep growing, and you have to you manage growth differently with that kind of mindset.
So let's talk about that because it's a challenging business.
Yeah.
Right. You've got inventory and printing cost and journalists and ad sales and there's a lot of things to it. What has been part of your formula for making it grow for that core values? And I know you've talked about some of those beforehand, but what are some of those core values that carry on through your team that have helped that growth?
Well, I think you got to care a lot about product. You have to care about the product you're putting together. So the quality of the product and what we do is really important to us. Obviously, the people, taking care of your people. A lot of our people around here. And I always say, when people in the communities we serve meet our people, they think, "Wow, what a great organization!" I mean, what a compliment for Jennifer and I to hold on to. So product and people. Now, the reality is that this is maybe the hardest outside of lumberjacking. This might be the hardest industry to be in, and there are people flooding in to be in the local news business for sure. So there's low margins because of what you mentioned. You got to print it, you got to distribute it, you got to produce it, you got to sell it.
You got to have the people for all of that.
There's all sorts of reasons why this is a hard business to be in. But I think we've found a good formula, and I think as long as we stay true to making sure our product is what it needs to be. And keep taking care of our people, then we're going to be in good shape. We're not just a printed newspaper, though. A lot of people don't realize this, but we have an email product that's daily. So we're a monthly print, daily email, and that our email, we're sending out about 250,000 emails a day to Texans that have opted in to receive their Round Rock email newsletter or their Katy email newsletter or their Frisco newsletter, and the growth has been just phenomenal to me. It's all organic. We're not doing a lot of advertising, social media to boost our subscribers, our email subscribers, and we grow at a pace of about 1,000 a week, just organically. People saying, "I want to get community impact every day." So we feel like that's the future: daily, digital, print, monthly, and that's really a good, strong business. If we can keep those going strong, then we think we can continue with our mission.
Rock Solid is produced and recorded at Round Rock Studio. Located right here in Round Rock, our state-of-the-art studio is built for podcasters and creatives alike. We offer multiple professionally designed podcast sets, top-notch recording gear, and a full photography studio ready for any project. Whether you're launching a new podcast or upgrading your existing one, we can help with multi-camera recording, editing, and everything you need for success. Record with us at Round Rock Studio, your local podcasting partner.
I love that philosophy, but more so because I know you touch thousands of businesses a year, and to get that kind of natural virality where people want to opt in because they're hearing about it and you're not spending for it. What would you recommend to a lot of those business owners that you see some come and go, and the ones who sustain it that you can leverage this philosophy from?
I mean, I think it starts with the product. At the end of the day, we have restaurants that will run coupons with us. One of the favorites is Thundercloud subs. Thundercloud subs, there's so many. We get stories all across Austin because of this coupon that they've been running for years with us. They don't need to run the coupon, right? But they do it because they ultimately have a good product and they want people to come in their door, and they figured it out. But we've also had customers that really they haven't had the same focus on quality of product and place. And you can run ads. I mean, you can run a great buy one, get one free ad, for example, and people will come in and you'll get the coupons. But if you're not delivering great products, great service, that kind of thing, then it's going to be difficult for you to survive. So our goal is to help get the word out, much like the podcast goal here is here. We want people actually want to know about local businesses in the communities they live in, and that's what we do. And we don't charge for like the impacts, and we write business profiles. People think that that's paid. It's not. Like that's just our heart, like your heart, to get the news out about these local businesses, because we believe Main Street is the heartbeat of a community, and those businesses that make this community great, we need to support. And that's what we do editorially.
Coming back to, famous quotes, right? If Main Street is healthy, the economy is healthy.
100%.
Right. And
that's right.
It surprises me when I see businesses who don't focus in on delivering an exceptional product. My mentor is an advertising guy. He's been an advertising guy. He first started his publication, the Monday Morning Memo, based on a voicemail answering machine, then went to fax, then went to email, and it's 30 years later, and he's built a phenomenal reputation because of that. But he always likes to say advertising only accelerates the inevitable. And if you don't have a great product, if you don't have great people, if you don't have great service, why are you trying to get the word out? Like, it's going to put you out of business faster.
That's right. And I think part of the goal of what we're trying to do is be, especially as our team goes out and visits with people, is try to be a little bit more of a consultant to help people. Like, so we ask things like, when the people are looking to advertise, like, what is the reason why people love to come to your place? What is it? And let the business owner, and a lot of times people are trying to advertise things that it's not even the reason why people come there, right? So just helping the business owner understand what their unique selling proposition is, and that's what they should be magnifying in advertising, or just word of mouth, or whatever they're doing to be.
So you mean those advertising principles like from the 60s, Rosser Reeves and all that,
really
it still kind of works?
Distribution and message, right? Like those are the two things that are still the key.
Yeah, and let's talk restaurants for a minute.
Sure.
Because, one, I'd love to find out a little bit of your favorite restaurants. But I always like to tell restaurants today, especially, if you don't have something that you deliver that's shareable on social media, okay, something that wows people, it's just harder to compete. If it's just average, if I can get a burger everywhere. I was on a webinar this week, a perfect example. We were talking about the Wendy's campaign from the 80s. We're old enough to remember. One of my hosts wasn't. But 1984, Wendy's attacked the burger industry and said, "Where's the beef?"
Right.
4'10" Clara from Brooklyn. She went around talking about where's the beef, and she was saying, "Hey, McDonald's, Burger King, you've got big buns, but you have no meat." And they accelerated sales like anything because they're really communicating that real value right away.
Yeah, that's right.
And why do you think so many businesses, especially the local moms and pops who started, struggle with that concept from day one?
Well, I mean, I think if you put yourself in their shoes, like, most of these businesses have sold everything they have. They've sold their 401ks. They've mortgaged their house. They've put maybe they got an inheritance or something. They put everything that they possibly could into this business because they had a dream and a vision, and they're just trying to run their business. It's hard. I mean, business is hard.
Very hard.
People trying to get people to show up for their shift, right? Like you have a supplier problem. You got price increases. You got, so marketing is just for most business owners is just a piece of it. And that's why we have to, Community Impact's sales and marketing team, we have to do a better job of helping them. And then how do we do that? We do that through trying to understand what they're trying to put together. We do obviously great creative for them. And then we got to make sure that our paper's read. So when they advertise with us, it gets seen. And so I think most business owners would agree with me to say, hey, marketing feels like it's like I have to explain every day how the electricity works in my building. It's not really fair for the business owner to have to understand all that stuff. And so like that's what we have to do for them. And so I think that explains it. And so, I think what's funny is if you find business owners that have strong marketing backgrounds, they're going to have a deficiency somewhere else, maybe accounting or something like that.
Yeah, it's always something.
Customer service, whatever it is. So there's always something. So I think that it's hard. It's hard to be a business owner. It's really hard, and sometimes they need us, and sometimes they don't. But we're always going to be there for them to support them, regardless if they do business with us. That's part of our. We want to be a light. It's part of our purpose.
What was your biggest struggle getting started? I mean, obviously you had the support of your wife. I'm also in a business with my wife. But what was the biggest struggle that you guys had when you first got started?
I think it was hot. It was August, July, August of 2005, and the discouragement. There was a lot of discouragement. There were people that obviously supported us, but there was a lot of discouragement too. So, it truly is. When you decide to open up your own business, you really are on your own. And sure, I can share with my wife the struggles and that kind of thing, but really the weight of pushing the vision forward falls on the entrepreneur. And it's the idea of, sometimes it's really lonely at the top. That's why my faith has been so important to me, because I always say, hey, when people say it's lonely at the top, it's man, they need to meet Jesus, because that's what's kept me through all the good times and the bad times and the hard times and celebrations, is I haven't felt alone in that regard. But as an entrepreneur, you go and you meet with people and you tell them your dream, and like it could be a banker, it could be a real estate agent, it could be just a friend, it could be a neighbor, and you tell them your dream and you really believe it should happen, and they say, "Oh, you sure you want to leave that good job for that?" And you're like, that discouragement is probably the hardest thing. Overcoming that, pushing the vision forward. There's a great book by a guy named Andy Stanley that I read that basically the concept that I got out of that book was, there's a difference between what could be and what has to be. Mm-hmm. So like you could open up that restaurant, maybe be successful or whatever, but no, that has to be gives you the fuel to keep the vision going, even when everyone's saying no. No, you don't understand. I have to open up this coffee shop because I don't believe that there's a place where people can, in this neighborhood, that can come together and build community. If I don't do this, the community loses. There has to be. As opposed to be, I've always liked coffee. Maybe I can open a coffee shop, and maybe people will come and buy coffee. Like those mindsets are different. So the key is that having that have to be in the mindset, I think, propelled me through those difficult conversations where people were like, "I don't think this is going to work. This is a dumb idea."
And you are also involved in the chamber,
big chamber.
Yeah, and how did that help support that vision and growth in the community?
I mean, we might be, in all of Texas, we might be the most chamber membered company in all of Texas. We probably belong to 80 chambers around the state. And I can't tell you what an impact that makes in every community that we serve, to not only be a member of the chamber, but you see our people at the events. Like we show up, we sponsor events, we buy tables, we go. And it all started at the very beginning. When I started around the Round Rock Chamber, I was a nobody. In fact, there were other publications. The guy who ran the Round Rock Leader was, I think, the chairman of the chamber. And so like, I'm a nobody. I'm coming in kind of competitively. And in the chamber, they had a big banquet in September every year they do. And the chamber, they were sold out. And the chamber team got me tickets. And I'll never forget it. Since then, we've always supported the Round Rock Chamber. We'll always give back. We're helping them with they're doing a big campaign right now. And Jennifer and I said, hey, we're stepping up in a big way for that, as a way to say thank you, because those chamber people, those chamber events, and I'm by no means over exaggerating, they helped us build the whole company. And I'm really grateful for that.
And the Round Rock Chamber is a very special chamber, celebrating year 75, a phenomenal team. Because you're involved in so many other chambers, you probably hear some of the good and the bad. What makes a great chamber?
I think participation. So the members' participation. So if you're at a chamber that like there are, regardless of your company size, if there are business leaders that are engaged and they're showing up, both serving maybe on the board or going to the functions or sponsoring events, that's what it's all about. When chambers are weak, it's generally because the staff is doing all the work and the business community isn't really involved. And it's just
probably
kind of
small
a club.
staffs on top of that.
Yeah. Well, sometimes big stuff. Sometimes the larger metro chambers can have some issues with that, where the staff has to do all the work, and then the board is kind of in board and principal only. And so I think the critical thing is that members have to be involved in doing the work. That's what makes a great chamber. Small town chambers or large metro level chambers.
Okay, so I want to come back to you've you cover a lot of businesses, especially here in Round Rock.
Yeah.
You've been here for a long time.
Yeah.
What are some of those outstanding businesses that you are so grateful that are here in town? That maybe some new ones that just opened up.
To me, obviously, like for me, I think when I think about Round Rock, you think about the what's transpired over the history of Round Rock, where you've had big events like IKEA coming, and then the Round Rock outlets coming. Those were big kind of like transforming, Dell before that, the Dell Diamond, all that kind of stuff. Those were transforming events. I think, look, let's give it to Jack Gilmore and his team at Jack Allen's, what they built over there off Settlers Boulevard, kind of started to get the restaurant scene going, right? But then you have like, local institutions that, have been here, forever, that have kind of kept it going as well. I think about like, guys like Matt at Cafe Java, right? Like they're kind of off the radar, that like have great service, great food, have always supported the community. There's several of them, but then you also have the kind of the new players in town. You can't discount what the team at Kalahari has been doing to support the city and support the chamber, and all over the region. So in terms of personal, like you really put me on the spot here. I mean, we like, Jennifer and I we always are like everybody else. We're always trying to go to like local restaurants, trying to find new things. I do think
I'm not surprised you like to support local.
I do, but I gotta tell you, like we love like Swallow Wines, which is up there downtown. We love to like try to help those local people go. I will say that I do think that there's some new things coming that we're writing about that are going to kind of keep the keep some gasoline going on local restaurants and local local places to hang out.
Like Purely Provisions that opened up this week.
Yes, that's a great example, and I can't wait to go over there. And I just saw that in my email this morning, actually, that it's now open. So I'm looking forward to seeing Round Rock grow. I do think our neighbors to the north, Georgetown, what they've done on the square, it is phenomenal. There's great places to eat, hang out, and I hope we get more of that kind of involvement here in Round Rock. But yeah, like I said, great local, restaurant entrepreneurs, like Michelle, that's downtown Round Rock, that's done a great job. So I think it's a great place to live and work. Although I do think there's some kind of new things coming, and I think it's going to be even more exciting for us to live here.
Okay, so final question for you.
Yeah.
I'm a new business owner, thinking about starting a business here in Round Rock, and I want to do the research. I want to understand if there's a place for me to connect, if it's going to work. What's the best way to plug in, and the kinds of people to ask in order to become successful? What would you recommend to them?
Well, I think people get frustrated when they join the chamber and like magic, they get the ribbon cutting and like magic doesn't happen. I think based on it's consistency of showing up and meeting people and getting outside the box. So my advice would be to show up. Like, just show up at events where maybe you would never have thought of to go to. There's a lot of like cultural event type stuff you can go to. There's faith-based events, there's city-driven events, chamber-driven events. I'm telling you, we know these people. Like there are people that go to every single event and they are building great businesses, but it's not only the business that they're growing,
their personal brands,
and their own fulfillment.
Yeah.
Like, look, life's short, right? And we've seen, great entrepreneurs here in Round Rock come and build great businesses, and then they either retire somewhere else or they pass on. And just having that kind of perspective, like it's not just about the profit and loss, it's about the relationships, it's about building upon the shoulders of the greats that have helped make this great place to work, like building upon that. If you think about that, it really builds fulfillment. It takes away a lot of the pressure from like, oh man, is my business going to make enough money or whatever? If you're involved, you're getting involved, you're doing things about it. I have personally found such joy in the lifelong relationships I've built that outweigh any of the business that I built. And I think that's the kind of the mystery of building a great local business, is your ability to not only provide for your family, hopefully, but also be a part of something bigger than yourself. And I would just encourage you to get in there and do it. Even if you don't know a single person, even if you're an introvert, go there, spend all your energy, then leave and go have a cup of coffee by yourself or whatever. But I would encourage you to get involved.
Yeah, I know what kind of impact this community has had on me in the last year and a half, and just being able to plug in,
because you show up.
Because I made a decision to start showing up.
Right.
Yeah, and that was all it is. If people have questions for you, want to connect with you besides the Community Impact website and signing up for their local newsletter, where can they message you or find you?
LinkedIn is always the best for me. I always answer messages, and that's the best place to find me. But you can also, shoot me an email. It's all on communityimpact.com. Find me there. Or find me at the Chamber Luncheon, right? See me there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, John.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Thanks for what you do for the community.